Well, good morning, everyone. I'll call our meeting to order at 9:01 a.m. I will ask everyone to stand for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Car ton bras est pour Philippines. Il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda for this August 19th, 2026 regular meeting of council?
Not from staff.
Is there a member of council that would like to approve the agenda for the August 19th? Did I say a 16th? August 19th, 2026 regular meeting of council. Councillor Clark, thank you very much. I'll call that motion. All in favor? That is carried. So for the minutes of August 5th, 2026 regular meeting of council minutes, I did see in here just maybe a wording amendment. Just going to scroll down. So when council roundtable items, it says the possibility of a water park similar to White Court. If we could just change that to maybe a discussion, or Councillor Boehm had talked about his excitement when he went, rather than the possibility. Thank you. Are there any other corrections or amendments to the August 5th, 2026 regular meeting of council? Councillor Brooks?
Sorry, Pat. Just in the same line, we have, the word similar, just a spelling error there, and then White Court is one word.
Thank you for that. Anything else, Councillor Jeffrey?
Just under my report, it refers to Hospital Foundation meeting date, referred to as the Health Foundation.
Councillor Finn, did you have something? Okay, is there a member of council that would like to approve the minutes for August 5th, 2026 regular meeting of council minutes with the corrections and amendments? Thank you very much, Councillor Jeffrey. I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Moving along the agenda this morning, we'll jump into our decision items. First up is 8.1. This is our 2026 Q2 financial report, and we have Ms. Elvira here this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. It's lovely to see you all.
You too.
It's hard to believe that it's already Q2 time.
Yeah,
Not just
August.
Q2, but Q2 report time. So I will jump right in. So I changed a couple of things in terms of how things were pulling into report for this time. After presenting last time, I made a couple of changes, namely I pulled sustainability out in its own line, so it was very clear what's been spent on sustainability, and we'll get to that later on in the report. And then also I pulled separated police and enforcement. So you can see RCMP costs compared to other policing costs, just for better userability for our users reading the reports. So I'll jump right in. So at the top, we have our general revenues includes property taxes, franchise fees, and other revenues, that is investment income namely. So at the top, of course, we earned all our property taxes in May and June. That's just, you earn them when you issue them. They become payable by the public to the town. So this report breaks budget into 50%. So the report is assuming that 50% is earned, but actually the whole amount is earned, so it makes it look much better than budget. Franchise fees, just about on budget, no concerns there. Other revenue, there's some of the investment income is not recorded yet. It typically gets calculated and recorded at year end. So there's some timing differences. There is, investment income is trending lower than last year for sure, but should still make budget because we did reduce the budget for investment income as well, because we wanted to switch investment income to be applied to capital projects and reserve accounts rather than using it in our operating. So we're trying to wean down how much we're even earning in or recognizing in our operating budget for that reason. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, it's unpredictable. It can be unpredictable. And exactly what we're seeing right now, we had really high. And now we have to wean off of that. And that now you have to make a decision where else that money is going to come from, right? So we're trying to change that so that in the future, when it goes up again, it just all gets applied to the future, essentially. Under general revenues, we have just like licenses, business licenses, and also when people pay for titles and stuff like that, pulling titles and stuff like that, lawyers and stuff for real estate. Those all fees get recorded there, right on track, nothing exceptional to note. Council is trending a little bit behind budget. A lot will happen in the fall, I think, for council in terms of events. So I'm not necessarily expecting that to be under budget in a significant way, but that's where it's trending right now. General administration is a little bit low or high on the high end, and that's because of some organizational changes that happened earlier this year. And that will be a theme through a couple of departments. But overall, it is trending a little bit over budget, not significantly, and some of that we will see smooth out, I guess, over the next 2 quarters. For protective services, we have police at the top. I guess I could rename it RCMP. That might be more refined. I'll make a note. There's always a grant we receive for policing, and that kind of it all gets recognized later on in the year, and so that's the timing difference there. For revenues on the revenue side, and that's basically all the revenues. We do have some ticket revenue. Is that what it's called? Tickets, issuing tickets. We get some fines, tickets and fines. We do get some revenue from the RCMP for that as well, but it's not a significant amount. And then enforcement services are like CPOs and all that. And then for fire, we're pretty much on trend as well. So overall, trending a little bit low, but once we get that grant from the policing, from the province, we're gonna be where we expect it to be. For expenses, great news. We saw savings for our CMP costs in their last fiscal year, which is amazing. We had just about $350,000 of savings. When I say that, I mean, they give us a quarterly budget. We project that budget out. The timing of their year end and our year end is different, right? So they give us their amount, we budget it for the year. I always account for an adjustment upwards because we have had that in the past where that last bill is higher than was budgeted for evening out their expenses for the year. It's not often the case, but there was a few years that was the case. So, and to be safe, we usually do on the safe side of budgeting. And so when that invoice came in this year, for their, adjustment. It was really great to see. Anyway, that is really good news.
Have we seen that the last few years, Elvira, I think?
2 years at
2 years,
least,
I
we've
think,
seen
yeah.
savings, yeah. And some of the savings is as a result of, like, I'm sure there's efficiencies because Ryan does a great job with the department, our staff sergeant, excuse me. But also, when they budget, they're always budgeting for, like, I always say lasers, I know it's not lasers, tasers and upgrading equipment and all this stuff, I
yeah.
know, every time. And then not all of it comes to fruition. And so then it's like, okay, well, so it gets pushed out kind of, the next year kind of thing. And so some of it is just that there's stuff that they didn't do that they wanted to, I guess.
This
Mr. Grant, do you have-
case, yeah, in this case specifically, they had 3 fewer members that they were paying for. And so we realized the benefit of not having those wages outstanding. And in the coming year, it looks like they'll have 1 fewer member. So we'll budget for the full complement as per normal, but they will be running with 1 fewer member. They just picked up two new recruits, and then they also have, as you know, the new equipment purchase for their sidearms.
And out of that, I think there was a couple, oh my gosh, now I have like what you have, and I can't say the word. When you get pregnant and you leave. Maternity leave.
More coffee.
It's like contagious.
Yeah. Yeah,
Those were the result of some of the
Yeah.
officers not.
and sometimes we've had that in the past where we have had a vacancy, but then the overtime costs eat up things. And so anyway,
Yeah.
it kind of can change given the year, given the direction, given the leadership, there's a lot of factors there. But that is great news at the end of the day for us. In terms of
Oh, go
money.
ahead, Councillor Clark.
So with the savings that are realized there, are we throwing them back into just the overall budget, or are we carrying that forward? I guess, what are we doing there?
I don't have anything specific direction, but my recommendation would be to put that aside for a year when it's over. Similar to how we do the snow budget.
Almost have like an RCMP reserve.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
this
mean,
year
yeah.
we did see with the RCMP 5-year financial statements, there was the purchase of the equipment. So as Ms. Thompson was saying, that in previous years, it's always slated on there, but it doesn't happen. And I believe this year, it was their pistols that were upgraded and tasers and a few other things. So we will see that in the following year.
Eventually, yeah, and so that's kind of my question why I'm asking is like, we're gonna get hit with those at some point, so let's plan appropriately, yeah.
absolutely. I lost my train of thought there, but it is a good idea. Oh, yeah, policing reserve. But the thought that I had was union negotiations. It's just a matter of time before we have a back pay again, just because it takes so long. And during that time, I mean, we can do our due diligence and budget a little bit, put a little bit aside, but it is nice to have like something, because that's happened in the past too, where we had a huge back pay. And then it took us a couple years to pay that off. Well, we chose to do it over a couple of years, but no, that's great. And the rest, the only other thing to note under this section for expenses is the fire. And that's because I've brought this up before, but want to make it clear. This is the change in how the fire truck was purchased. So this will come from the unrestricted reserve. So previously we'd budgeted to be borrowed on because we were going to be purchasing it, but it made more sense for the county to purchase it. And that payment to the county has to come through our operating budget. And so it's going to make our operating budget look over budget, but it will be funded by unrestricted surplus, and then another project is going to get borrowed for instead.
So when we initially had conversations about the equipment, was the town paying 100% for it?
No, it was
was a cost-
always
always
going to be
co-
cost shared. So it's not costing us any more money. It's just how it looks on our financials and how it's being, because now it's going to look on our financials as a cost share expense.
Yeah.
Or it transfer to other levels of government, essentially, is what it is. So yeah, it's not costing us any more than what was budgeted. Going on to transportation, for revenues, nothing to note there. For expenses, we have the common services that looks over budget. There are some reasons for that. Some of it is equipment repairs that happened, but some of which will be paid off for, as council remembers, there is a motion that was brought forward to use the sale of an asset, the gain on the sale, to pay some of that off. So some of that will come down, and some of it is allocation between the common services, which is sort of the, where the mechanics and the equipment and the managers and kind of that stuff, and then roads and sidewalks is like the actual on-the-ground expenses. And so some of it is the way we expected the budget to fall in between those two. So it is trending, it is trending a little bit over, but it has to do with various staffing changes. I believe it's trending over a little bit, not much, not significantly, but mostly it is timing of repairs and such. And you'll see that roads and sidewalks way under. Also not something to get super excited about. The reason for that is a lot of the repairs happen in July and after. Almost all of them, actually. There are some that were started, like line painting, and some that were started before, but once the project was done and everything, the invoices haven't come in yet and stuff. So that's why that looks so much under budget right now. And then storm sewer, that's where the desludge project is, and that will not happen until October, I think Shelley said, so sometime in the fall anyways.
And that's Aspen View.
Correct, yes, that's desludge. For utilities, the revenues are pretty on point. Water, sewer, both trending a little high. As council remembers, we increased some of the fees for that, so this is good news. Not that people will stop using water because our fees increased, but it's trending right where we would expect it to. The trick more so is projecting utilities. It's hard sometimes budgeting for it because sometimes there's unknown variables that happen in a year, and it's just hard to budget for. So it's nice to see that it seems to be pretty accurate. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Thanks. Can you just explain when the price change happened on the water? A lot of people were questioning with our updated billing switch that things changed. I just want to clarify.
No, the fees were in place for January 1st. Yeah, they were. Just happens that then right after we changed the billing system and the bills look kind of different. So it's not surprising that got confused. Yeah. But the fees are, so the fee schedule bylaw in the past, other than sometimes it gets amended, but the fee schedule bylaw gets passed and it's effective January 1st. Yeah. The surprising one for me was waste, and it's trending a little bit below. We'd expect waste, which is the landfill, to trend ahead in the spring because of spring cleaning. So I'm digging into that one a little bit, not 100% sure. It is cyclical, not cyclical, I should say, but it does rely on projects sometimes as well. Sometimes we have big projects and stuff, and so it kind of sets off the trends a little bit. So I'm not really concerned, but it is slightly unusual compared to what we've seen in the past, is that we see more revenue the first half of the year than the second half of the year. All the expenses are, it's just the timing of maintenance and the timing of when these projects happen. So they all look under budget, but it's all just various projects and maintenance that happen July and afterwards. So we're around $300,000 in savings, essentially, is what it looks like to date, or as of June 30th. For community services, starting off with FCSS. Oh, yeah, sorry.
So just with the water sewer, I know we had chatted in the past about, weaning ourselves off of using that in general revenues and allocating that more to infrastructure. So I guess what percentage are we looking at in terms of like year over year, you know.
Increasing it by?
Yeah, yeah. Like, or I mean, even just reallocating out of there and not putting that back into general revenues and,
Yeah, I can't remember, I'd have to go back, like, I'm trying to remember how much we increased it by last year. But the entire increase is going to reserves. So we increased the rates, and that entire increase was going straight to reserves. Let me look up the percent to be accurate and get back to you on that. But maybe Connor can look it up for me while we go through. But we're increasing it, I want to say it's near 50% now.
50%, you say?
So how many years until we're not putting anything in general revenue?
Yeah, so that depends on sort of council direction, and that's one thing we're gonna approach this budget season. We haven't been able to set a finite number on that, but I would like to do that. It requires a lot of commitment from both administration and council, yeah. Because it is a significant increase in reserve transfers that has to happen. You know, we're not at 50%, there's no way we're at 50% yet. So we basically have to get to almost 2 million in reserve transfers just for water sewer. And we're not even at 1 million for all reserve transfers, so.
Like a 10 or 20-year plan? like it's
Yeah,
way
yeah,
down the
absolutely,
road,
yeah.
but
And that can come kind of as a holistic plan along with the capital plan as it's being updated. This year, the projects that we're doing with the county that are looking at our infrastructure and master plans, once those are done, we'll have much more specific and definitive information for our capital plan. And I'm not saying that we don't make this set a plan this year, but it will be easier to see exactly what we need, because the information I'm going off of is going off of an old utilities review, and a lot of those projects we're not doing, and so the reserve transfer in that was recommended there may actually come down, but either way, the number that we can aim for is whatever utilities makes. That is a number, a specific number that we know that we can aim for transferring. And I don't know that there's many municipalities don't take some of their utilities revenues to offset operating costs, but not most of them. And so we do have a number that we can aim for in the meantime, while we're waiting for some of that infrastructure information to be finalized. So that's a long way of saying that we're working on it, but I'm hoping, I would like, it's still in discussions with the team and the CAO to say, like, can we bring something, a direct motion that comes along with council that says, let's set a plan for this? Because at the end of the day, it outlives this council, that decision. And this council is making a decision from before their time too. But every council is in that position. They just will be, right? Because these decisions are 10, 20, 30-year decisions, and you won't see it realized in your council term likely, but that doesn't mean that, yeah. It's admirable when councils can make decisions that don't necessarily result in them seeing,
Exactly.
you know, the benefit.
During
But there
the
is a
term.
benefit, I can guarantee you it. Sorry, I know I'm
I do have one other thought around
Sure.
that. So because there's some new commercial, there's some new residential development, could we take the position that any new tax revenue that comes in as a result of new builds is offset, you know, so any of the water and sewer revenue is offset by that. So that new tax revenue is now,
goes right into
Yeah.
the reserves. Yeah, absolutely. Which is that's the nice thing about growth, when it's not inflationary, when it's actual growth, is that there is not a cost. That's now an absolutely new tax revenue that's coming in. There is a cost to delivering a new service, but marginal in the grand scheme of the town's budget.
but offsite levies kind of capture that, no? Like,
Yes, they're supposed to, but because we've had so little growth, I've brought this up almost yearly, maybe more than once a year since I started with the town. It's like, hey, our offsite levy bylaw is super out of date and needs to be updated because it is marginal, the amounts of money that come in from it right now. But because we had so few growth, it was never a priority. Well, I don't know. It was never at the top of the list. And then on top of that, it needed to come alongside some other bigger decisions that had to come alongside that just never got realized. So the offsite levy bylaw needs to 100% needs to be updated, especially seeing as we do have development happening. So I'm sure that it's happening already, the talks of it. It's on the list, yeah. But yes, you're right. It should be structured in a way where the growth pays for itself, and like there's never a situation in which current residents should pay for somebody new to come to town. It should just benefit. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. FCSS and community services, not big variances there. FCSS, some of it is the Brazeau County and the government pay quarterly, but Parkland County sometimes pays at the end of the year. It's just a timing thing. We're typically right on in what we expect in the FCSS revenues because it's predictable and budgeted for ahead of time. Community services, nothing unexpected there. ECDC, there is a timing difference on a grant, and I say this every year, and it's always a fun game we play with the province, but they always change how they pay out, how they structure grants and stuff. And so I had asked about this variance, but got the answer sort of after the report was put in. But yes, there is a payment that came in July that actually was for June. So that explains most of that difference. On the expense side, the FCSS variance is the timing of outgoing grants. So we have the community grants and the events grants and all that kind of stuff. And they do those, like a lot of that has already went out for the year. And then for wages, there is, for wages. For ECDC expenses, wages are on my mind because we talked about it. But the expenses are trending slightly over. We think that this is because after reviewing it, there's a timing difference between the old system, the payroll still being done through the old system, but some is recorded in the new system, and there's a timing difference. We expect to have that all refined out by quarter three. But nothing like that jumps out, that's a concern or anything like that here. Trending a little bit over budget, expecting it. It is definitely a tighter year, I will say, in terms of how close we are to budget. It is a bit of a tighter year. I think we tightened the budget a little bit more last year. There's less room. And then if inflation's just not, it doesn't seem like things are cheaper. They never get cheaper. Planning and development, this is where the good news starts happening. I love it. So I talked about projects and growth. We have revenues coming in for permits and building permits and development permits and all the like, which is really, really great to see. That's, yeah, I don't know if Troy wants to expand on it at all, but yeah, that's just great news all around. Economic development, we got a grant from Jobs Economy. That wasn't budgeted for, so that's good. Whether all of it is used this year, we'll find out, I suppose. I don't know for sure. So at year end, if not all of the grant has been used up, then we will take the extra money and put it into next year. So we may or may not recognize $53,000 worth, or it's not 53, there's not all of it is a grant, but I think 37,500 is a grant. So that's how it works with grants. If you don't use it all that year, then you take that money, put it in the next year to match when the expenses and to match the revenues and the expenses in the same period. CETC, not really anything to note. Education, this is a reserve transfer if needed. So for years when the education program first was up and running, we had like donations and commitments that happened that were supposed to be for education. They ended up going into reserves, and we've been pulling on those reserves for the last couple of years to fund it. And so if at the end of the year, if we have $30,000 worth of, this is just for tuition too, it's not the other expenses around education, not that there is much anyways. then the reserve, this money will be transferred to operating to cover those expenses.
And what about Brazeau County's contribution? How is that captured?
That will come into revenue, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's when they happen, like it's like,
When they have a student, then they
yeah,
pay?
I believe,
Is
I'd
that how it
have to
is?
go back and look, but only a couple, like towards the end of the year will,
We'll see a lump sum?
yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe twice a year, but I think once a year, yeah. But last year I know that they had a few. So yes, they do pay their share for students in their region. For planning expenses, trending slightly over budget, not, and this is also some organizational changes that happened. Economic development, same for planning and economic development, both of those. CTC, it's also, the revenues are a little bit behind, but so are the expenses, so it kind of evens out. And then everything else is kind of what we expect. There's not a lot outgoing for education, so I don't know if it's a slow uptake or what's exactly going on with education, but it looks like only about $6 or $7 grand has been spent as of June. But there likely will be a big uptake in September for the fall, is my guess. Parks and Recreation,
So for promotion, what's under promotion and other?
that is the outgoing, this is, just let me make sure I'm seeing what's right. Promotion other. It is our, sorry. Yeah, it's the town promotion budget.
Pardon me?
60. No, it's the 6910. It's, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, marketing.
And the outgoing, like, support to certain, like the grants, community grants and stuff like that. Outgoing from us to organizations too, as well.
Well,
Does that make sense? Community events grants?
Okay, I thought that was up under FCSS.
Sorry, okay, sorry. FCSS has FCSS grants under their mandate. This is the grants that come to council, the community events grants.
Well, they sit under here.
Yes, yeah, sorry. There are, FCSS are all the grants that fall under the FCSS mandate. I did say community events grants, I realize that now. Parks and Recreation, so Team Auction Center is trending behind. We have, essentially how it ends up falling is that we have one more month of skating in the fall compared to, so in the last half of the year compared to the first half of the year. The MCC, the biggest part of our revenue comes at Christmas time, lots of events happening at Christmas time. The Ricochet Oil Corp, it's, for years, we increased the revenue, and we didn't know when it would kind of plateau. I suspect we're starting to plateau, and we have, the rate of increase has declined. And so I think we may have plateaued now in terms of program revenues and stuff, but maybe not. Maybe not, there's always opportunity. However, I think some of this is also the timing of some of the program revenues in terms of swim lessons. I think that is as well the case where we have lots happening in the fall. So probably once that shutdown is done, then it's going to be all hands on deck in terms of program revenues. Campground revenue, another really good news story that I'm sure the CAO has told council about, but the switch of how that is being ran is looking really great. Increased in revenues, it's just the portion of revenues that come to the town is higher. And likely there's more revenue to begin with, and then a bigger portion coming to the town. Expenses, so Team Auction Center and Ricochet, Team Auction Center and the MCC, they're essentially one, but Team Auction Center had some due to insurance, so last year, the assessments came, I know it's not called assessments. Every so many years, they come and evaluate all our buildings and see and so part of that process, there was some requirements that we had to get up to date. And so there was some unexpected costs there for that. And so we've communicated, Connor and I have spoken just to bring these managers just in the know and just say, okay, like you got to watch now other budgets so that if in general we can't maintain it, then at some point, then we're gonna have to come to council to ask for something there, but hoping that that's not the case. And then also insurance, some buildings were the way the insurance increase, which we budgeted for, but we budgeted for the increase to be across all buildings equally, and that was not the case. There were some buildings that had a much higher increase, and so there's Team Auction Center was one of them that got hit a bit more on the insurance side. Other than that, nothing to note there. I think some of this over budget will come down in the fall, but we'll keep an eye on it and keep the managers, talking to Connor to make sure that we know where it's going and how it's going, and just keep an extra careful eye on that. Other than that, that's it. The contingencies, there's a couple things in there, but it's still lots of money left in there. And so overall, we're looking at 9 million better than budget, but that's because of the taxes. So don't get too excited. It's very exciting, I know. So if you go to variances by department, that's where you kind of can see by department. And so the community services, that's the ECDC, that will come down. It won't be that much over budget. Admin is a little bit over budget. That's organizational changes. Not 100% sure if that will come 100% in line, but with careful monitoring, we still have many months left where it can be improved. And then Parks and Rec, that's both the MCC and the pool, but both will increase in revenues in the fall. So that's the report. That was really great, lots of questions. And then the next portion of it is just, any other questions?
Councillor
sure.
Brooks?
Yeah, so it might just be proper accounting, but I'm wondering why there's a $9 million variance as far as our taxation revenue goes. And I just wonder, because we know when taxes
Yeah.
are due, and
So-
so most people should be paid off by then.
Yeah.
Are we just splitting it up equally by
Yeah,
quarters?
so this is well, first of all, we're required to, or it's about the budget. That's the piece where, so previously with our accounting software, we could budget based on last year's actuals. Either way, all of that money has to be earned as soon as we issue it, that's when it's considered earned and needs to be recognized. However, we could budget for it to all have been earned, but because our accounting software did not allow us yet, it will going forward, it did not allow us to spread the budgeted portion at the same rate as the expenses or revenues incurred the prior year. The next best thing was to just do it by percent. And I don't want to go in and manipulate data too much for reporting purposes, and that's why it's like that. But we're working on making sure that we can budget in the system, apply the budget across periods in the most accurate way possible. So yes, you're not wrong there, but that is why this report is the way it was. In previous years, when we did that, it would not have looked like that. It's not really a variance, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, and because then it going one by one through the accounts and then spreading it differently, it's too much chance that it's making it look like the last thing we would want is to make it look or imply that budgets are just being like switched around to make the report look good. Do you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that it's predictable and it happens right when the budget happens, that it's spread based on last year, and then it's reported on the exact same way throughout the year. It's measured against the same number. So yes, the 100% will get updated for the next year. Yeah. So then we go, I just attached a graph, so it's just a visual for where we're at. So some revenues are over, so the red line is 50% as of June, and the expenses, we're trending very near. Some are slightly under, mostly but because of projects, and some are just slightly over budget. So it's just a clean visual. Accounts receivables is the next graph. And there's nothing crazy to note. Yes, some of our receivables are, for utility receivable, it's a little bit higher. It's due to, we're still catching up on the systems and the delayed billing and all that kind of stuff. Nothing to be concerned about. Taxes and general receivables, they fall quite in line with where we would expect to see them. So you see the gray line there for taxes, how low it is, that's December. So almost everyone that's going to be paying, most people have paid by then, is I guess what I'm trying to say. In June, lots of people haven't paid yet. So that's why that line is so the gray line is December, the light blue line is June of last year, and the dark blue is June of this year. So those two are very similar, which is kind of what we want to see. So then we go to the other accounting information. We have general, we kind of already touched on the receivables, nothing to note there. Lots of we bill for right in the beginning of July, we'll bill for the quarter. And so all big amounts of billings in terms of counties and all those kinds of billings happen at that time. And it's literally impossible for those to have been paid off because we bill them in July back into timing wise, right? And so at the end of each quarter, you just tend to see high receivable amounts for that reason. Deferred revenue increases a little. It'll increase a little throughout the year as we receive money that we're not sure we're going to spend that year. We put it in deferred revenue, and then as we spend it, we recognize it. This will include mostly provincial grants. But I've said this before, but just reiterate it, that we tend to save up some of the LGFF or CCBF money because we sometimes save up for a few years, put it on a big project, and then we spend a lot of it. And so that's what deferred revenue is. It's money that we've received, but we have not yet spent. So it sits as a liability on our books, after which it turns into revenue. Other assets, cash looking good. June is a big cash month. That's the highest our bank balance will ever be. Well, not ever, but in a given year, it will peak at June 30th. Well, let's say July 7th. Somewhere, whenever that final, the taxes, sometimes we give the weekend or whatever when the timing wise, but yes. And then LGFF operating and LGFF capital. So this is a highlight note as we go to AB Munis. If they're gonna change anything, there's a lot that needs to be changed. I'm not going to say, let's not focus on just one thing, but one really, really frustrating thing is the fact, again, I'll say it again, that you have to have spent a certain amount of the money before they'll give you the next year's money. So it allows us not to be able to earn on our money that we're inevitably going to be getting. Previously, we sat on that money, it earned interest, and that interest was directly applied to the project that the money was applied for, and so it was great. In that sense, so that's what that is. It's building up because we've saved up for LGFF for 50th and for the distribution project. So there were big amounts and they just will not pay until we've spent that money. So now that the distribution project's on the way, then we should be seeing the release of more money. So that's what that is. That's why that's building up. So that's one of the things for LGFF that makes a big difference. It really does. Reserves don't change. We don't change them throughout the year. That's done at year end when everything comes into it being finalized. So the June 30th amount is the same as it was in March when I presented, or for March. And then we have capital projects. Nothing crazy to note. The only thing is that the ice plant, same as last time, there's no change there in terms of, some of that's going to be offset by grants. So we had to do some studies to get the grant. That's what that is. That's why that's looking over budget. And then the other one is the AFRAX that got approved outside of budget. And I could present it as an approved budget with a note, but I just want to it to be very visible that these are the amounts that were in the capital budget. So essentially what happened is the A4X radios project came to council, or they were made aware of it, and it was gonna be a lot of money, and it was coming down the line. So council made a motion to put reserves aside for that project for like 5 years from now. I can't remember the time frame, but maybe 3 years. Then we realized that there was tons of savings if we did it sooner. So that's why that came outside of budget. And I believe that project is just about done. But yeah, I won't go through project to project because I'm not the project manager and I don't have the best information in terms of where they're at. But if you have any questions that I can't answer, I would be happy to at least try.
Any questions? Can you tell us what was the linear assessment that we collected and when it was paid? February, do we typically get it? Our linear assessment?
Oh, yeah, it comes with the linears, it comes all with the normal tax revenues, it all comes at the same time.
It comes at the same time, and what was the amount?
Oh, gosh, I'll have to look it up. I don't have the information on this computer. I don't think it changed all that much. Let me see, if you give me a minute, I might have. Tax assessments. Yeah, I don't have that right now, but you know what? That, along with percent of money
Yeah.
that's going into utilities from what utilities is making,
Yeah.
we'll make sure that it comes through
Perfect.
to council in that way, to make sure that you still get the information, so we'll make a
Wonderful,
note of that.
thank you.
Yeah,
And then I know you can't, I don't think you can answer, so when we look at the 2025 carry forwards, where are we kind of at with everything?
there's a lot of projects there.
Yeah.
I know snow dump is on hold, fire training facility is on hold. That was when we thought we were going to be able to do something at the county, old county building. That was when that budget was approved, and then things just halted and stalled and stuff like that, and that's been sitting there. But we know that something will happen, and so that's why the money stayed and we haven't rescoped it. Likely that will roll into a bigger project at some point for fire training. Park Valley Pool, the CEO will be able to give an update on that, but kind of the same story, like we started a process, then we're waiting for the recreation assessment.
A recreation master plan, when can we expect that too?
So if I can just interject here.
Sure.
As Elvira indicated, she's not up to speed with a lot of these different carry forwards or projects. I'd be happy to bring forward an update on all the projects to council.
Wonderful, that would be great.
Outside of this conversation. I did sign off to your question on the rec master plan. They should be coming, I think it's September 2nd or the next council meeting after that with their presentation for council. They're just confirming the dates at RDS, and so I'll provide that data in an update later on this week.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, this is just so that council can keep an eye on how much is spent to date. I don't have information necessarily as where specifically things are at, but the important thing is that, well, it's hard. This, even in Q2, it's hard because so much of the money gets spent in July, August, and September. And so it looks like in general, we're doing great, less than 800,000 spent on 26 million, but that's just how these kinds of projects go. Like the big one being the wastewater treatment, right? It's a huge project that's on there that doesn't have a ton of spending on yet, so. Awesome. Anything else for any of the information I presented?
Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Not a question, just a comment, but I really like the red and green on the sheet. It makes it easy to, if I'm explaining to anyone else.
Yeah.
Be like,
Because it was
Yes.
opposite last time,
it's,
and yeah, I looked at it, I'm like, so I'm glad that somebody noticed.
Awesome, well, thank you, great job, appreciate it. And there is a motion with the report today. Is there a member of council that would like to make the motion? Councillor Jeffrey?
I move that council accept the 2026 Q2 financial report as information.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much again for delivering that to us this morning. Good job. We'll move along the agenda to 8.2. This is Mr. Cody Rossing. This is for the rescinding policies, community safety, and fire services. Good morning.
Good
Welcome.
morning, everyone. Happy to present 5 policies that we're hoping to rescind today under both the Community Safety and Fire Services branch. So just continuing with the good governance and reviewing what's internally and do we need them anymore. We've identified 2 policies that fall under the Community Safety branch relating to automated traffic enforcement, and 3 policies that fall under the Fire Service branch relating to fire services that are no longer required in the organization. On the automated traffic enforcement ones, that was removed from the community a number of years ago. For whatever reason, the policies didn't follow their way out the door with it. So making them go away hopefully today. And then on the fire department side, they've essentially replaced those council policies with internal standard operating procedures and stuff like that. So all the items that are in there are already covered. So what we're looking for today is a motion to rescind the 5 different policies as presented.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. Any questions for administration? No, wow. Thought there'd be like, a ton of questions. Why are we rescinding? What's going on? What's missing?
Photo radar.
Bringing photo radar back in.
Councillor Jeffrey?
No, I didn't have anything.
Do you have, you don't have a question?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I should.
Councillor Brooks?
No question. I'd just like to say that I really appreciate that we're cleaning up these policies. I can make a motion.
Sure, go ahead.
So I move to rescind policies PS-02-14, PS-04-14, PS-01-00, PS-02-00, and PS-03-00.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I will call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Quick and easy, right? 8.3, Ms. Shelley Terry, good morning. This is for 8.3, the snow removal and clearing policy T0126. Thank you for bringing this back to us.
No problem. Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of council.
Good morning.
So we made some changes to the policy, minor changes. Some were we added some service levels that weren't currently in the policy, including alley grading. We put some clarity around what snow clearing and snow removal is, and windrows, what those are, and noting that sometimes those windrows will stay in place pending on operational demands. We included the county sections of roads in here with a map that states that they're going to remove snow on some of the highway areas that are in the annexed areas. Just because that's a contract that we have with them, so we wanted you guys to be able to see that. We incorporated the changes that you guys wanted earlier in the year to reinstate 50th and 50th sidewalks, and then removed anything that's within a bylaw that doesn't need to be represented within the policy because we're already capturing it within bylaw. And I'm hoping to rescind the previous policy and adopt this policy as presented. And I'll open it up for questions.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. So there is 2 snow clearing and removal policies in our agenda. Are they different?
There's 2.
There's 2, and they have the exact same policy number and date, so that's why I was just wondering if,
That's just a duplicate. It should be there
oh, so
twice.
there's no, okay, 'cause
Yeah.
I was reading last night and I was like trying to find the difference and I was like,
Yeah, I'm not sure
seeing
why
it.
it updated twice. Oh.
Oh.
Bizarre.
Okay, so it's just a duplicate.
It's just a duplicate, yeah.
Okay, so we have the paper here this morning, and we want to make sure that we're giving clear direction because we've made some changes going forward. What would just be a highlight of the changes that we made, particularly for the snow clearing, like sidewalks?
So the sidewalks are that we're reinstating that we are responsible for the sidewalks on 50th Street North and South and 50th Ave West of 50th and 50th.
Okay, and we'll be communicating to the businesses along,
Correct. The
Those
next
areas.
steps would be to find out who's all in the affected area, create a letter, do a mail merge, and send them out to
Okay,
all
perfect.
impacted residents and businesses.
wonderful, and then we're well ahead of snow, months ahead of
Yes.
snowfall.
We will also do public notification on our social medias,
Okay.
updating the public on the policy change, as well as some other communications on what this will look like, so.
Okay, perfect. And then what about for our priorities? What are some changes there then? Any changes to the priorities of snow
Nope,
removal?
not for roadways. The only thing changed within this is for that sidewalk clearing.
Okay, wonderful.
We did change the map a little bit. Previous map had sectioned out areas. The reason we did that is because we alternate those areas. It's not on a priority basis, just so it's fair for everyone.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, and I would just want to comment again that your team did a phenomenal job last season for snow removal, just top notch. So I'm sure that this policy will continue to support that, and we appreciate everything. And I know there was a lot of positive feedback and comments from the community of how we really knocked it out of the park. We had a lot of snow, and we were really on it, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Any questions for administration? Is there a member of council that would like to make a motion? Go ahead, Councillor Finn.
There needs to be two.
Yeah.
So I move that council rescind snow removal policy T-02-22.
Perfect, thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll call the motion that Councillor Finn made to hereby rescind snow removal policy T-02-22. Was there comment, question, debate? Are you sure? Then I will call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Is there a member of council that would like to make a motion for the second recommendation? Councillor Clark.
Absolutely. I will move that council approve snow removal and clearing policy T0126 as presented.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Going once, going twice. I will then call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Perfect. Thank you very much for that. We are just cruising through the agenda this morning. Wow. These are big items. Everybody's just ready to hammer it out. Next up, this starts the reports from Mr. Troy Grant this morning is 8.4. This is for the Drayton Valley Municipal Library Board. We have one member at large appointment this morning.
Roger. So attached is a letter of appointment of Pamela Friesen. The library board is desperately short of members. And so having Pamela Friesen appointed is a welcome relief for the board. The recommendation is that she be appointed.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Go ahead, Councillor Jeffrey.
So you say that they are needing more members, so how many members are there and how many vacancies at this time?
I will defer to Councillor Bohm for that one, since he sits on the board and has informed me that they're desperately short.
Thank you.
Yeah, so technically, so quorum is we need 3 members to show up for a board meeting. We have fallen short of that twice in the last 3 months. And so we've had to defer some meetings. That being said, so this is a new appointment, as well as there's already another one. I received an email on it this morning that there's another person that has come forward, so that's great. However, that being said, we currently have 2 additional members that are on, that have been longstanding members that are done at the end of this term. So as of October, we will have more seats available that need to be occupied. So yes, we are definitely still looking for people on the library board, and that would be very helpful if people are interested in getting involved to put your name forward.
Perfect. Are we advertising and assisting with this?
So we will be pushing this out as part of our larger comm strategy for all of our boards, especially as we move forward into October in the organizational part. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Clark.
Yeah, I was just gonna, there are provisions, I think, to go beyond the suggested term, right? For existing members. they don't want to? Okay.
The answer is yes, there are, if they want to.
And is there a reason why we're seeing such a decline in the members of the library?
There have been some internal conflicts, as well as just additionally, I think a lot of people get on to boards. They think that it's something different. They get on, they see what's actually going on, and they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought. I thought we were doing probably a little bit more involved with the library, as opposed to just getting information from the operators of the library. And then basically all we really do at the library board is say, this is, we can approve spending the money, this is what we're spending money on. So it's not a glamorous job in any way, shape, or form, but it is something if you feel value in the library, to be involved in, just so that you have a say into the future of it and to make sure that it keeps running effectively, so.
Wow, way to sell it, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. I move that council appoint Pamela Friesen to the Drayton Valley Municipal Library Board for a first term of 3 years, beginning August 19th, 2026, and ending on October 31st, 2029.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Moving along up, next is 8.5. This is for the rezoning of the town lands recreational to residential, and this is Mr. Troy Grant again.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At the start of my time here at Drayton Valley, we initially started to take a more strategic view of all the lands that we held at the town. And this parcel is the first one that pops up on the list. It's a sizable piece that's already in a residential area. It's zoned to be recreational. However, it'll never be a recreational parcel. It's not suited for recreation in any way. So the request is that we rezone this to residential and we market it out we go through the process of declaring it surplus and then subdividing appropriately and marking it out to a builder for a single-family residential lot. This is the first one to come to council. I thought maybe we'll just bring the first one through, walk it through, see how it goes. Hear your concerns or thoughts, and then restage for the next go-around. So once we go through this process, we'll better understand exactly how it goes through. This is a fairly simple lot. And then, once we understand it, we can take it through a little bit more quickly.
So I think I might declare pecuniary interest here.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I'll pop out for a bit.
Okay,
and let me know.
did you capture that, Ms. Thompson? Councillor Clark has declared pecuniary interest. We'll just take a minute and wait till he leaves.
Yeah, it's a good point. I actually had in my notes to ask Councillor Clark if he was interested in declaring a pecuniary interest or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Grant.
Great. So the lot situated on the corner of 38th Street and 50th Avenue is suitably located for an additional single-family home. It'd be an attractive location, and low-density residential is a good fit for that neighborhood. The utilities can support it, and yeah, I think it's a good spot, but I'll leave that to you guys to decide.
Thank you very much. Could we just pull the map up onto the screen, please?
Can we rotate it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is the corner lot on Glenbow, and what is the size of that?
The lot size is .23, just about a quarter of an acre.
Okay,
There will be setbacks and step backs from shallow and deep utilities as well as the corner. So we do have areas that we have to be, but the lot is already stepped back from the road right-of-ways.
so with that back in mind, the building footprint would be to the north of the lot, and then what would that leave, I guess, the development area of the lot? Do we know?
Yeah, that development could, because of the size of the lot, that development could easily accommodate a 40 build pocket.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Jeffrey.
Just a repeat of the last little thing
What
you
is a
said.
40 build pocket?
Yes, thank you.
Good, thank you. And as soon as I said it, it's like, exactly. So when you take a look at your homes, your lot might be, a 50-foot lot by a 150-foot lot if you have an older wartime house. And then it's the frontage of your lot, of your home that fits into there. So that frontage, you'll hear anything called build pockets, and they really discuss the frontage of the house that you're about to build into it. So this could accommodate a very large home. You probably wouldn't put more than like a 30 build pocket because you wouldn't be able to get the revenue out of it. And that's the thing that builders will consider is maybe they can build a mini McMansion on a quarter acre at the right variances, but they just wouldn't be able to sell it. So they would scale back to a build pocket that's saleable for them. And that's kind of how big hand, small map, that's how they generally define where they want to build and what they want to build.
Go ahead.
Just to help me personally visualize it, so the size of this lot, if I were to ask Councillor Wheeler, the size, is it about the same as your lot?
It's definitely not the size of my lot, but if you look at the house right beside it, like
Okay,
right
Above it,
Above
north
it,
of it, yeah.
see, like there's almost two houses on a lot, like
oh, I see,
Oh,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
that lot.
And so then this is the area in front of that adjacent to 50th? Okay, thank you.
There used to be a stick here, because Mandy used to point all the time.
Councillor Finn?
So I just have a question, the process of this, then, can you kind of go through what that will look like for residents and such? Just, there might be some residents in the area that want to know.
Yes, certainly. So I'll defer back to our disposal bylaw that we did in June. In following that, what we have to do is we have to go back, rezone this into from recreational to residential low density. Once we go through that zoning process, there'll be a sign that goes up and we'll let everybody know what we're doing. That'll provide public consultation where they'll come and have an opportunity to speak to council to say whether they support it or don't support it and the reasons why they support or don't support. So we'll do a first reading once this is done to rezone, then it'll be a public hearing, and then it'll be, you'll decide in second and third reading thereafter. Once that's complete, assuming that it goes through and it's declared to be surplus and rezoned appropriately, then we'll use our current real estate contract to put it up for sale. And it may very well form part of the dirt-to-door process. The reason I want to bring this one forward first is to answer exactly these questions. What are the timelines? How long does this take? Because the last thing I want to do is create unmanageable expectations. If we rezone stuff right now, those lots will be available over the winter for sale, which is when builders and developers are looking for properties. And then the construction season, they'll be ready to construct and open for sale at the front end. So I know this is going onto a bit of a diatribe here, but generally speaking, there are two sales seasons for residents. One is the late winter, early spring, and then the last is a late summer, early fall that we're in right now. So we want to be able to be ready for builders to be able to put a lot up with, a foundation and stuff early so that they can get it pre-sold as quick as they can.
Thank you.
Councillor Wheeler?
Yeah, in relation to, I'm not sure about who does what sometimes with the building process, but the town would need to provide the water and the sewer hookups. No?
They're already there.
So, so the deep utilities run there already. So the hookup to the main line is the developer's responsibility, not the town's. So when
But
they
even if
come
there's
in,
no like
Yep.
CC anything to
that's
hook up
right.
to?
It'll affect the price of the lot.
Yeah,
I would prefer that the town doesn't take on the responsibility of putting a saddle on the main line. The developer or builder can do that, and it'll reflect in the price of that lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree, depending on where they hook on, it's about 17 feet down.
Yeah, completely why we
is-
don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, excellent. The other thing too, I'd want to just double check with that lot specifically is it might be zoned there, but going around that whole backside is all a ditch for environmental drainage and just to make sure that that's reflected in whatever needs to be.
Yeah, that'll be part of the landscape, so the drainage swale would accommodate that same runoff. So they can't build it out and then cause other people to drain.
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
good, yes.
Thank you.
Definitely, that would be part of the landscape.
Yeah, but I appreciate this coming forward. This is exactly the kind of thing I think personally the town needs to be moving forward with, is if we're not using that space, I live very close to that space, and it is not used recreationally, then to pay to mow it all the time and take care of it, yeah. Well, I could touch it. That is my house in the middle, the piece beside it.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So, yeah.
I need to stop you guys. I was not tracking that.
That's all good. Doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter, because I think it's what's best for the town, so.
Okay, and just depending on how the motion goes today, if this is coming forward for first reading, can we make sure in the package that we have maps with the land location, aerial, maybe aerial with contours, right-of-ways and things like that? So then if we are having anyone coming forward, and then just to help council make that better decision when we're looking at those impacts.
Absolutely. What we'll do when we go forward is we'll have something that looks a bit like a quad slide. So we'll have this, plus we'll have a couple of other pictures and more of a definition. This is just the first, is this what we want to do and how do we want to do it, kick at the can? But absolutely, Madam Mayor, we'll make sure it's better.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions? Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion? Councillor Bowen?
Yeah, I move that staff walk this parcel of land through the rezoning, subdivision, and sale process to create at least one saleable residential lot.
Perfect. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Next up, we have Mr. Troy Grant. This is for disposal of commercial lands, I believe. Yeah, we're still okay.
He's going to have the same problem.
Yeah, he'd have to remove himself as well. Does he need to come back in and make an announcement to remove himself for 8.6? He's only made one for the rezoning of the town lands.
Yeah, technically, it's probably the right thing to do. We probably should have done them both at the same time, but I wasn't thinking.
Okay, maybe we can just come back before we jump into it.
Yeah. That way it's clear that he's declared pecuniary interest on
For both,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we'll have a break, absolutely. Do you want to just come with the mic, just so you don't have any? Okay, so we've captured that Councillor Clark has come back into the council chambers. We're moving along the agenda to decision item 8.6, which is the disposal of commercial lands. This is Mr. Troy Grant again. Councillor Clark,
I will recuse myself once again.
thank you very much.
Pecuniary interest.
Thank you very much for that. We'll just give him a moment to exit the chambers.
Exit with authority.
Okay, wonderful. I'll hand it over to you. Go ahead, Mr. Grant.
Much like the last one on the residential, we're also bringing forward this already established commercial lot. The beauty is it's already zoned and it's already in our possession. We don't have lots quite like this for sale on the market. Recently, in a call with local developers, there is interest in finding opportunities to pick up business commercial lots in our town. We're seeing some uptick in interest from developers, which is good news. So it's a good idea from my perspective to add commercial, industrial, and more residential as we go forward. In fairness, I have not driven past this lot. Well, I think I did, but I don't think that I can pick it off a police lineup. Yeah. So this is, yes, so when you're heading. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So the Best Western is just east of it. Okay. And that is that. And then the size of this is
2.2 acres roughly.
2.2 acres?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I just want to confirm ACR is going to be directly north, I think.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, perfect. So we all know where this land is? Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. So the reason I chose this parcel particularly is because it doesn't really join well with the future education development. If we do end up going with a hub-like area, it kind of gives us a weird shape. And this fits really nice to Councillor Finn's perspective on the existing uses in that area. So if we do have additional commercial development of any size, this is probably a good place to put it. It's a high traffic area, which is why that's the one. But like I say, we've been past it, but to really tell you more than the fact that it's a flat space, I don't know about the utilities, where they are in situation to that.
Perfect, thank you. And if there was a recommendation that staff recommends that council determines these lands to be surplus, and then directs administration to dispose of them, in what way would we be disposing of them, and what would be the process?
So disposal is simply selling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would that, we would go through a Realtor? Would it be put on our town webpage? What are the steps, I guess, for a municipality in order to dispose lands?
Perfect. So in this case, council needs to determine that these are surplus and then direct administration to dispose of the lands, which is the technical terms for selling it. In our sale process, we've already, in previous administration, engaged in a contract with a local realty firm who would then put it on the market. At the same time, we'd put it on our town website. We have to update lands for sale so that we can put our residential, our industrial, our commercial lands up and work that through. Then we'll also reach out to and answer calls to other developers who have reached out to us. A couple of local developers for commercial have reached out recently, and this is exactly what they're looking for.
Okay.
The location might not be perfect for some of them, but it is for others.
And if we're listing this, are we listing it at fair market value, or are we just coming up with a number?
Just fair market value, Madam Mayor.
Perfect, thank you for that. Any other questions? Councillor Brooks? You're ready to make a motion? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Just wonder if the motion should be more specific to that actual land piece, or are you just wanting the general direction right now? Like, will it come back, or are you asking us to determine it as surplus today?
Councillor Wheeler, I think you're absolutely right. It should be specific to this land parcel, which is the lot block plan listed on the
Yeah.
sheet. Yeah, sorry, that's my bad. I should have made sure that was in there. I appreciate that. We'll make
the
sure it's
motion-
like that in the future.
Yeah, so the motion is for council to deem these lands to be surplus, to deem these.
To determine,
that?
yeah. And it would be specifically
that is.
4420211845 lot. Yeah.
It's just the legal lot.
Okay. Okay, are you going to make a motion, Councillor
I would
Brooks?
love to make a motion.
Oh, you
yes.
are making a motion, okay.
Okay. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, yeah, no. I move to designate the lands in lot block plan 4 for 2021845 as surplus and direct administration to dispose of them.
Perfect. Did you capture that, Ms. Thompson? Okay, wonderful. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? So the only question is after, if the motion is successful, next steps would be sign going up and we're putting it
Roger
out to the
Doctor.
public? Perfect.
Yes, and
wonderful.
also, thank you for that. I'll make the future motions more specific, so I appreciate that.
Wonderful. Okay, Councilor Brooks has made the motion to deem the lands of Lot 4, Block 4, 2021845 to be surplus and directed administration to dispose of these lands. I will now call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. And that wraps up our decision items. We will break for briefly and then 10 minutes and come back and then jump back into CAO report. Okay, we will reconvene our meeting back at 10:35 a.m. Next up on the agenda is our CAO report from Mr. Troy Grant this morning. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The report that I'm about to deliver is in reference to the service level review delivered by the Municipal Empowerment Strategies Group. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to sit with Barry and Janelle, review their report. It was quite eye-opening, quite frankly. I have the report here. The spreadsheets were forwarded out to the senior leadership team yesterday for their review. Any updates, as soon as I have those, which are due on Friday, we'll kick them back to Barry and Janelle to update anything that's gone sideways. To put it into context, initially, there was well over 100 service level line serials that they were dealing with. They've narrowed it down to 87, then grouped it into functional areas so that we can see it better. Their approach was then to break it down from, for lack of better terms, the levers that we can pull to adjust things, which will come forward in the budget discussions, as we discussed at GMP last week. And that is to say that you'll see the costs of service levels, and then you'll see any revenues associated with the service levels. These two things are completely separate items, and they should be reviewed as separate items versus the net cost or the net revenue. So then we can understand better, what does a service truly cost, and what does it truly earn, if it does at all. So this is how you'll see it come to you. Basically, if we take a look outside of just the raw numbers provided by MES, their recommendations are things that we're already instituting and implementing. So it was actually quite good to see from a strictly lineal perspective when they first met us, which was under another CAO, when they did their work, which was under a second CAO, and when they're wrapping it up under practically a third CAO. So they went through a bit of a bridge with us. And what they saw was exactly what you would expect to see in that time and space. A little bit of churn, uncertainty, a lot of questions. It's moving through a calming stage under Jen Stone, where we were starting to get our feet under us as a group, better define everybody's roles and responsibilities, and get focused moving forward on council's strategic priorities as well as delivering services to the town. And finally, once you guys put me into this seat, we saw that become even more calm over the past month or so. So in the review that you receive from MES, it'll speak about that process where it was a little bit more emotional to where it's now a little bit more duck-like, which is where we want to be. It'll speak to what the real costs of services are and where we're sitting relative to our own expectations. And that's what you're going to see. It's not a bad report. It pretty much redefines well, I shouldn't say redefines anything. It reinforces exactly what we're doing and the direction that we're headed. So I'm quite happy with the report, the way the draft is right now. But this should be in your hands with MES coming in mid-September for their debrief to you. If I can get them in earlier, I will. But that's what it looks like. There won't be any surprises in this report for you.
Perfect, thank you very much for that. And then next up, you have 9.2, which is a request for municipal budget allocation. This is for the EPAC.
Absolutely. So EPAC has sent a letter requesting additional support for their expansion program. This is a budgetary item, so I'm bringing it to you, putting it in here for your information and for your consideration as we move forward. It's something to take an initial look at. I think there's some work that has to happen before any substantial amounts of money can be allocated. But at least in this letter, you can see the direction that they're headed and what they're looking for and some of the expectations that are coming. I did have this conversation with Brazeau County CAO just intermittently. At that time, neither one of us was ready to have a real conversation about it. I just wanted to make sure he was aware that this was in his hands also. So there's really there's no real recommendation coming out of this other than to say this is, they're looking at their expansion. They've got themselves a plan, and they are looking seriously at bringing in a new construction partner who I'll be meeting on Friday.
Perfect, and then this is part of our joint council for discussion on the
That's
agenda.
right. Yeah, that's why it's important to have it now so that we can see what it is and what they're looking for.
Perfect. And you do only have, Mr. Grant, just the two items on your update. I was just wondering if you could just give an update on, or if you're ready for our benefits, if you could just kind of do that.
Oh, sorry, yesterday I learned that maybe all of council was not aware of the benefits switch. So I directed our HR to send you all the complete package of that administration has as well. So you can see exactly, it's the exact same package. It's just saving us a great deal of money switching from our previous provider to our new provider, but your packages are the same. And you should be receiving that today if you haven't already received it.
Okay, perfect. And then if we have any questions, who are we to reach out to?
Just send them my way and we'll push them into the right neck of the woods. If it's a personal or private thing that you'd prefer not to send through me, I'll set you up with the right staff member.
Perfect, yeah. I don't know if any of you have noticed that we've had some changes there. I've had some emails come in too, so I just was questioning what had happened. Yeah. That's okay. It got missed somewhere.
Yeah, so this is actually, as much as it's frustrating, it really redefines those 4 pillars of communication that we're bringing forward. How do we talk to ourselves internally and then from there? But that's pillar number 1. And interestingly enough, that's what's in here. We need to communicate better and more effectively within the organization. I think this is just one more of those times. My apologies, we'll get it right.
Thank you. So with the changes in the new provider, you're saying we had been in the process of kind of scoping this all out, and then we ended up saving some money, and that's what the switch was?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Councilor Brooks.
Thank you. Just as I don't know if you have the exact number, but ballpark estimate.
Of what
How much
we're
money
saving?
What are we saving?
Of the savings?
Yeah.
It's in the tens of thousands.
Perfect. Okay, so just watch for that in your inboxes. That'll explain all the details and everything. And then if you have questions, just reach out to Mr. Grant, and then he'll direct you to the right person. Go ahead, Councilor Jeffrey.
Just while you're doing your report, we did mention earlier Recreation Master Plan and the status of that. So at that time, you indicated September presentation for that as well. I just want that confirmed.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay, any questions for Mr. Grant? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Thanks. Just a couple random. One is about over on 57th Avenue, there's some development work happening. I'm just wondering if they're expanding or making more lots. I don't need an answer right now because I haven't sent it ahead of time. I can send an email, but just more a curiosity thing about
Where
the
is
town
that?
and growth. Up by New Force.
Is that behind Points West?
Yes, but way behind, like there's Points West and then there is the ambulance and then there's kind of, there's another building and then it's like the end of that street. It's up in the corner. I'm hoping they're doing lot development and stuff. I'm just more curious if we've.
I got a same request asking, and I wonder if it's the same location, asking what's happening up behind
Oh.
Points West.
I didn't get a request.
Same-
I'm just curious.
It's the same area?
They're east of New Forest, but directly north of Points West.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, and then that just helps us all kind of see what's happening.
Make sure we're all saying the same stuff, yeah. What was it, so 52nd?
57.
57th.
Say, if you type in 5630 56th Street, it'll be real close. 56th Street, yeah. That's our address and we're up over there.
So right beside Mojo.
So right here is where they're doing a whole bunch of work.
Oh, yes.
Like this is Points West, and that's the ambulance.
I know exactly what that is.
Oh, my God.
Can you comment in public?
Sure can. Yes, so there was a request, a development permit request for a laydown to go in. And they're just doing a little bit of work right now to take a look at what the shape of that land looks like, where, to figure out what they're engineering. So they're doing an initial strip of the topsoil after they've done a first call, so they know where everything is under the ground. Both the owner of the land and the developer of the land, two different parties, which I don't think I want to talk about in the public. They both approached at the same time for a contract relative to some very immediate work that's happening. And to expedite this, along with their development permit, they're looking at a 20-acre site. Yeah.
It's not multiple lots or something.
It's industrial.
Okay. Councillor Jeffrey, did you have a question? That's okay. Anybody else? In regards to Mr. Grant's updates or anything around the CAO desk? Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for your report. Did we want to make a motion just to, or do you have another question,
I was
Councillor?
just going to receive for information.
Okay, wonderful. So Councillor Brooks, if you'd like to make that motion?
Yeah, I move to receive the CAO report for information.
Thank you very much. I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Moving along, we have your council reports. Before we begin our council reports, Mr. Grant and myself were just having a bit of a conversation around what is the, where does it fit in where our appointments are as councillors, right? So each of you individually sit on committees, and this is where you would give your report when you're sitting on a committee. So think of every committee that you've been appointed to, whether you have had a meeting or whether you've got action items coming out of there. This is where you would give that update. It helps administration kind of track what you're doing, what's happening within these organizations, what's happening in the world outside of the town of Drayton Valley. So I think as you kind of work through your reports today and going forward, I know we talked about, even sending them in to Ms. Thompson, of sending like a written one that would capture everything if we want to go back to that, or if we want to give a verbal one. But just be mindful that even if you sit on Drayton Valley Tourism Hospitality. We didn't meet this term, there's nothing else happening, no changes, just, even just to acknowledge that you sit on that, because I think that a lot of times we don't even know who sits on what committee, so then we have outreach from members in the community just asking what counselors appointed. So just be mindful when you go through, if you can just make a note of everything you sit on, and if there's no action, then nothing happening there. And it just helps Mr. Grant and the staff kind of know what's happening, and then each of the other counselors too, if that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Counselor Jeffrey, you're up first.
Well, thanks. Okay, I have to wing it now.
Now you're like, what have I been doing?
Okay, so just to think about what you've just said, so I do sit on FCSS. There's been no action there in the last while. And I also sit on the Health Foundation Board. The Health Foundation Board is meeting regularly. They've recruited a number of new board members, and their focus right now is on getting them oriented, et cetera. So it's pretty exciting that way. But that's basically all that's happening there now. The focus is on the new board members. Now, in terms of my report here, the biggest action that I'm experiencing is the being a part of the Brazeau Housing Board. And we did have a meeting there that has some important information that came out of it. Every time I report, I talk about the vacancy report. That waiting list is crazy growing. The day of the meeting, which was held last week, there were currently 72 names on the list just for the Shangri-La Lodge. And to put that in perspective, there are 81 residents there. So 81 residents and 72 individuals that are anxiously waiting for a spot to open. The other thing that's happened in that meeting that was very significant was a presentation from Scott Builders. They expressed interest in being part of the development of the new building. They made a presentation that was very effective, and the board agreed that they would take over what they broke down to phase 1 and 2 of the project. Basically, that's getting the board ready to appoint, or to the point of doing a formal RFP issuance process. And I might have to ask for CAO Grant to explain that part, but just getting them to that point. And basically, in layman's terms, it'll be the point of getting things ready for a bid to happen from developers that might be interested. The other important point about that presentation was that there's virtually no cost that will be incurred from the work that Scott Builders is doing up to that point. There was more discussion, again, about land allotment, the 4-acre parcel. It's become, in my mind, the infamous 4-acre parcel. The point that was brought up by Scott Builders that was significant related to that is that the original dream design included an underground parking possibility. They advised that would not be a wise decision based on cost primarily. But given that, because there would be land parking required, we would need to perhaps increase that original 4 acres slightly in order to be able to accommodate the need. So just a heads up about that. There was anxiety expressed about subdivision of that, and what we were told that day was that does have to happen perhaps sooner or later, but it's not stopping the process right now, so we'll progress without that having happened at this point. CAO performance review was done by the board members, and so we're currently in process of discussing upcoming salary related to that. So yeah, there was lots of action. We were there for several hours that day. It was good. Other than that, the fun stuff I did in the last couple of weeks, skate park jam happened. The weather wasn't perfect that day, but there was still action over there. ECDC, working with the 2-year-olds over here, was just a highlight for sure. Being part of presenting the payments to the recipients yesterday, others that were more involved will explain more about that. And just a a comment about the upcoming street party, just an expression of thank you. I mean, several of us around this table are doing that, and we'll maybe discuss it more in the governance reports, but that'll be it.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your report. Councillor Brooks.
I was wondering if I could just ask a question about the report we just had. On the waiting list for the Brazeau Foundation, does the foundation keep track of where those people, not necessarily a current address of where they live, but like, are they all like Drayton Valley, Brazeau County, or are they kind of, or are people coming from Yellowhead County, or I'm wondering if maybe there's a, it would just be interesting to know, right? Like, as an example, if you house 71 new people, they're coming from somewhere, does that add 71 new houses, not new houses, but houses on the market sort of thing? That's kind of where I'm coming at. But, yeah, so I was just wondering if the foundation kind of keeps a, that might not even be public information, right? Like, so maybe it's not appropriate here, but, yeah.
It's easy to say I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, sure.
But if you're curious, I can ask the question. I'll ask that question.
Awesome.
Good
Yeah,
question.
as far as my report, oh, yeah, sure.
Is just the average wait time, like if of those 71 people, is it 2 months, 3 months, or 2 weeks? Or that'd be interesting to know, because I think that's kind of important information, along with where are they coming from. Yeah.
That is a good question. I think they are able to answer that, and I don't recall exactly what the statement was regarding that, but I'll bring both pieces of information back.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so as far as my report, my boards haven't, EPEC has a meeting coming up, but, and then the rec board hasn't really had a lot to discuss, so we haven't really been having meetings. There's a member of county council that's on the board had expressed that he wants to have a meeting, but he hasn't put his item on the agenda, so we haven't had it. So that should be coming up here pretty soon, but other than that, we've been shaking hands and kissing babies, and that's all I've been up to.
Perfect. Thank you. Councillor Wheeler. Yeah, right?
Yeah, no, it's been summer. Most of our committees kind of paused in the summer, mine do. So sustainability has not met. We're talking about starting back up in September for a meeting to kind of connect before October for our side. The chamber hasn't had a meeting. The last one, I wasn't able to attend, but you did and updated, yeah. So, and then Youth Advisory Committee has, same thing, quieted right down. The members have dropped off. We've been working on recruitment, but we're really finding that surprisingly, adults aren't interested in committees, so really youth are not interested in committees. And and it's fair. And so we're actually talking about kind of redirecting. We looked at partnering maybe with Kickstand. They have the youth hub and they have youth there if there's a connection piece. And then the value that we want the youth committee to bring to us, right? If we're supposed to be engaging with the youth, maybe there's a different way, whether it's that we host a conference or a workshop once or twice a year and invite all the youth in the town to come to kind of a feedback evening or something like that versus a committee. So we're in the stage of redrafting. And so we'll come prepared in September/October when we meet to discuss what we think the best move forward path is, but chances are it will not be a committee, so. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Councillor Clark?
Yeah, a couple things. DVHTA, hospitality and tourism, didn't have any meetings, but as usual, there's donation requests that come in, so we just deal with those as they come. Permanent physician recruitment, filing year end, Carol Vokes, the treasurer there, so she's dealing with that. And then Pat and I have a meeting with RPAP on September 8th to chat about kind of the future of PPRC in Drayton and what that may look like. And so that'll be interesting. And lastly, Rec Board, nothing to report, haven't met in months, so.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Councillor Finn?
Yeah, so EPBR, our last meeting was back in June. Our next meeting is September 14th. I have been connecting with them just because, just on the tourism side of things, but, yeah, and then the airport is, next meeting's in September as well. And I don't have anything else to report.
Perfect. So for EPBR, who grooms the trails at the cemetery?
The Rotary Trails?
Yeah, the Rotary.
It's a great question. I will find out.
Yeah, if you could find out, so we were just down there, and I know there's been a significant amount of rain, but I cannot believe how overgrown. We went to the very bottom and it was like a jungle. I was waiting for like an alligator to come out. That's how, it was like, and normally it's very, so we were saying, I bet you it's just not being walked because it's been so wet.
Okay.
So there hasn't been a lot of traffic down there, but I've never seen it that overgrown.
I'll find out today. I'll
Like
get an answer to you.
all the trails, like it was really very interesting. Yeah, and then there's some trees that are down and stuff, so. Perfect. Deputy Boehm.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been, I don't know, it's been super quiet since our last meeting. So I have not had any committee meetings. I'm on the DV Library, once again, just a call out for additional members. If people are interested in getting involved on that board, fantastic. I'm on the Community Safety Committee. We also have not met. We will be meeting, I believe it's next month. The Healthy Communities Coalition, same thing. I won't be meeting again until next month, so that's been on a break. And I really have only attended one of those meetings anyway, so I don't know what's going on there, so can't really give any updates. Outside of that, yeah, nothing really to report. Things have been slow.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, as we wind down from summer, it's, yeah, a little bit slow, but I'll tell you, the September calendar is booked. For myself, we wrapped up the final golf meeting with Deputy Boehm and myself with the Councillor Glenn Gunderson and the councillors from the county there. And we were able to raise just over $40,000 between the three charities. So the three charities were Cause for Critters, EPAC, and All Our Daughters. So that was fantastic. Yesterday, members from Councillor Jeffrey, Councillor Wheeler, Councillor Brooks, I'm trying to think who else was there, and then the county council, we did check presentations at the county office at 12:30 yesterday. So that was really nice. They were very grateful for the funds that we raised. They had a bit of fun. I know that just talking to a couple of them, they were able to raise just a few extra dollars additional at their little tents because they had some fun games and that going. And they said that they were very grateful for the opportunity just to educate the community. You know, in talking to All Our Daughters, they said a lot of people didn't know, you know, that what was going on, what the service was. And so it was just that education, getting the word out and things like that. So another successful year. Out of that, we will forward the full report. I think Glenn sent us some information. We can forward that to the rest of council just to have a look at for what the numbers and things. We did a little kind of just a follow-up to say, you know, what would we change different and what would things look like next year and things like that, you know, and then how we would maybe go about the process as well as looking for, I'm having trouble with my words today, not the candidates, the recipients, the grant recipients, how we would pick those, like maybe who would nominate those, who would bring those forward, maybe start communicating that out. And then also we talked about, some of the feedback from the community, I think, was that people thought it was a town and county event, that they weren't allowed to attend, like it was a private event. So we talked about maybe just switching up our marketing next year to just say third annual charity golf tournament and then host it by, and then somewhere at the bottom you have Town of Drayton Valley County, so people to think it's community, even though we were pretty good. I know last year we sold out, this year we were about 10, 12 short. We did raise a little bit more money this year than we did the previous year, but it was a great turnout. So we just want to say a big thank you to everyone that attended, all of our sponsors, all of our donations, the volunteers, everyone that made it such a successful day. We had a ton of fun, a ton of food, and it was really great. So a big thanks to everyone there. We did meet with Minister Bachenko. Oh, go ahead.
Just tiny feedback, I know you've already done it, but if there's a prize for the highest golf score team, because that's what I'd be on.
Well, and we
I
did
would
talk
like that.
about that, like, you know, is what we could do a little bit different for prizes, because there was a few that we talked about, it was a blue ball game, right? So a lot of people didn't understand what the real object of the game with the blue ball, and it was like, you can't lose your blue ball. And a couple lost their blue balls to a crow. So we said, We did give a prize at the end, but we said maybe we'd get creative with some additional prizes. Yeah, I like that for the highest score for sure, and whoever gets their ball stolen. We did meet, council met with Minister Bachenko. We had an announcement for the grant that we received from Dreeshen. So that happened last week, as well as we had given him an update just on some of the things that are happening in our neck of the woods and events and everything that are happening. So yeah, we had that meeting. I was part of the ECDC field trip that came to the council chambers. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting what had happened. I forgot when you have 2-year-olds in a room, how fun it can be, right? And then, yeah, but challenging, and how fragile with the steps and the chairs and the microphones and the cords and, yeah. Go ahead, Councillor Jeffrey.
Absolutely. The one thing that we saw, well, I can't say I learned it because I have grandkids that have taught me as well. Boy, those kids, they were taken by the mics. The little girl that sat up there and wanted that telephone, she knew exactly what she wanted to do with it. And the little guy that could push my mic and actually adjust that so that you could hear him better. It's crazy.
Yeah. It was cute because they actually got to vote. So the vote was, or the motion was, or if they could have bubbles still at the park or something. So they got to color with a crayon blue or green. So then the educators went around, because we had them all sitting on the chairs here. So the educators went around, and so we would ask them the question, then we'd tell them what color. So they'd color the little ballot, and then we gave it, and then, so it was cute. And then, of course, yeah, as Councilor Jeffrey was saying, they were fascinated with the mics and the phone and the gavel, and then yeah, you just kind of forget, like, I don't know, I was thinking grade 2, and when I heard they were 2 years old, they were all like, whoa, almost bumping their heads and falling, and it was cute, right? And then we got to read them a little story. There was a little story about everybody's jobs and what we do in there, so it was cute, and it was nice to have them. So we really appreciate ECDC bringing the little ones here, and we would welcome it again anytime. And it's just a great opportunity for, even at that age, to get out and see what we're doing. I don't think any of them really cared who we were or what we were doing, but it was cute. Yeah, they loved the mics. Yeah, it was fun. And next time we might have to baby-proof or child-proof our council chambers a little bit better and prepare. Bubble wrap everything, right? That's what, yeah, we're like, we should have bubble wrapped the sharp corners there. It was cute, though. So there was that. So for me, for updates, mid-sized mayors, we did have a meeting recently. We're just securing the September 24th large meeting at Alberta Munis that everybody has. Our numbers are growing. I think we're up to 38 out of the 84 municipalities, so lots of uptake. Minister Williams is fascinated by the mid-sized mayors' towns as well as the cities that they're working outside of Alberta Munis. So he had welcomed and invited the executive committee to attend dinner at the Ledge, so he'll be inviting us during the Alberta Munis just to talk about what that additional supplementary infrastructure funding could look like for communities of our size. You know, our fight is that, you know, rather than sending all that extra money to Edmonton and Calgary, we'd just like a little piece of the pie that would help with our infrastructure gap, right? So we're still advocating for that. We have one piece, so we're encouraging our councils to come out to that. For the health advisory that I sit on for the province, we haven't met yet over the summer, so we'll be jumping back into things in September as well. And that wraps up my report. Is there a member of council that would like to receive the council reports as information? Councillor Wheeler?
So moved.
Thank you very much. I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. We'll jump to council items, roundtable discussion. Councillor Finn?
Yeah, so I just received an email actually yesterday. So there is the Drayton Valley Basketball Tournament Committee is hosting their second annual basketball tournament on August 29th and 30th. I don't know if everyone got the email, but it looks like they're looking for someone to speak briefly at their opening ceremonies on the 29th at about 9:30 a.m. I think you got the same email, Colin? Okay, so I just kind of want to share that, but that event is going on in the community at Holy Trinity. Sounds like they bring about 6 or 7 different basketball teams to town for the weekend, and this is their second annual, so might be worth checking out for sure.
Yeah, so if you're able to stop by, I do believe Councillor Clark did respond. I did respond and say I wasn't available, that I would talk to one of the councillors. I think Councillor Clark did respond and say he is available.
Yeah.
Everyone's good with that?
Yeah, I said I would say some words. So.
Perfect, and then, and then it is a 2-day, so like Councillor Finn had said, if anyone's wanting to pop in and out there and just kind of celebrate and encourage them and wish them the best of luck, that would be great.
Yeah, so it's 9:30 to 9 PM on the Saturday and 9:30 to 5 PM on the Sunday.
Perfect. Can you just put or send out a calendar invite, Ms. Thompson, and that way everyone has it? And then, Councillor Clark, are you good, or do you want Ms. Stone to, you're good? Okay. Anybody else have anything else? Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
So a couple things I was thinking about. So ECDC, we don't have that board anymore. So there really isn't a whole ton of communication coming from that. And the only reason I'm asking this is I think I was the last counselor on that board. So just for, I guess, everybody's sake here, I wonder if it'd be worth bringing in, say, like Mutart or somebody that's been in the past to kind of help explain childcare and that sort of stuff and the importance of it. Perhaps ahead of budget or something like that. So just a thought.
Can you tell everybody who Mutart is again, Councillor Clark?
Yeah, so Mutart is an organization that I think specializes in like early childcare development, and that's kind of their wheelhouse. So there is a fellow there that is happy to usually come and talk and express his love for that sector. So
Perfect, thanks. And then even if we could, also have an update from Bernice, because I don't think this council is aware of the role that Bernice plays when it comes to childcare in our community, quality childcare in our community. She's been asked to speak on behalf of the provincial government a couple times, and she's really been, a pillar when it comes to speaking for childcare. When we look at the town of Drayton Valley, we're one of three or four. One of three municipalities that offer a childcare. So we need to be celebrating that, right? And embracing that. And I think, Bernice has done a fantastic job. So maybe if we could even have an update from her of the role that, she's played, and then her 2 presentations to the government alongside, that, because that would really, I think, be helpful as we head into budget and we head into, having a clearer picture of what our facilities are, how they operate, who's behind them, and how, quality childcare and the services they offer is huge for our municipality.
and she's nationally recognized
She is, yeah.
for all kinds of stuff
Huge,
that
yeah.
way. So just a thought, I don't know if you had anything to add there.
My only question is, would you like this in council or would you like this in GNP?
Whichever, that doesn't matter.
I'm fine either way.
Maybe GMP?
Bernice. Sorry, I'm talking about Bernice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. And then how, significant the childcare and the role in the community, yeah.
Yeah, because like in the past, they've kind of tandem attacked their presentation and
Yeah, it's
talked
no-
about Mutart and then kind of how,
Yeah, I know who Mutart is as well, so no problems there.
just a thought. So I think it'd be important and good information for this council.
Mm-hmm.
2 other things. So I've had a couple people tell me that there's odors coming from the lagoon
Oh, yeah, I noticed that
recently.
yesterday.
And it's been pretty thick. Thick odors coming. So I don't know if there's something going on with the aeration there or what, but, or if it's the rain that we're having flushing things out or. Okay. Yeah, like people having to close their windows, it's pretty bad. Eye watering, yeah. And then lastly, just, can we get an update on the list of ministers that were kind of tagged up with for Alberta Munis? I don't know if we have that list.
That were what, sorry?
So we have some meetings set up with some ministers. I just don't know which ministers those are.
And the dates, do we have dates yet?
I don't know.
We haven't heard back from them. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't heard back yet, but we'll provide a list, and then if we have tentative dates, we'll plug that in as well and send it over. And then we'll also make sure that they're added to your calendars.
Other than that, that's all I got.
Perfect. I'll go to Councillor Bohm, then Councillor Jeffrey.
Thank you. Yeah, one thing, just 2 weeks ago, we had received an email from a concerned citizen, the use of either town traps or personal traps, because we have a bylaw currently in place that prohibits people using their own personal cat traps. And so I guess just a discussion around us, is that something that we want to bring forward to a GNP or to a council meeting in order to adjust that? And what kind of information do we want to see with that before we make any adjustments?
Go ahead, Councillor Finn.
So the current policy or bylaw says that in order to trap a cat, they have to use a town trap for us to take it? Town approved or town owned?
It's a town-owned trap.
Okay.
Was it in regards to this? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Yeah, I would appreciate that discussion coming forward to GMP. I think it's great. Bring the bylaw, we can review it and see in some direction from administration on how that email fits in or what they think, if that's a one-off, or maybe they get calls 10 times a year to borrow cat trap and we don't have enough, or I don't know, but yeah, that'd be great.
Just in relation to that, so everybody has the same context, the town has 4 cat traps that we let out at any one time. The reason for that is the amount of space that we have to put the cats that are trapped. If everybody and their dog is bringing cats or things that look like cats into the critter collection point, we will be overrun without space to house these critters.
Oh, and speaking of critters too, there are kittens available for Cause for Critters. Please pick up your cat after the meeting, gift one to a friend. Remember to spade and neuter your pets. I should say that after every council meeting. Please spade and neuter all of your pets, please. And yes, if you could pick up a kitten at Cause for Critters, that would be really appreciated. Is that everything, Councillor Bohm? Okay, Councillor Jeffrey?
I have a couple things. In the past, we've talked about a concept plan. Are we still doing that, or what's the status of that?
Thank you for that question, Councillor Jeffrey. The concept plan is in the process right now. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we have to do in the background. And as soon as that first draft is available, and I do have an email in my inbox to get back to V3. So as soon as they finish mapping it out, it'll come to you guys for your consideration and adjustments. But that should be happening here in the next week and a half or so, yeah. But again, I do have an email in here from V3 that I haven't read yet, and it does say concept plan, so I might be shortchanging the timeline.
Sounds like September's going to be busy.
I think so.
Okay, so the street party that's happening on Friday, I mentioned earlier a bit. One thing that has, considering we're Wednesday and 2 days away, we are very anxiously hoping that we can get enough volunteers. So if you could spread the word amongst your friends, please. Definitely, we could use some more help in that area. And then that brings me to ask the question about our in-kind contribution. What are we doing there?
So at this point, our in-kind contribution consists of some summer staff, as well as your time, and 15 garbage cans. That's it. Well, we're doing street sweeping also, sorry.
Okay, so those summer students, I hope you've met with Tara to talk about the hours.
On
I think
Friday.
there's been some conversation.
Yes, Councilor, on Friday we did.
Okay, I advise you to contact her again, because apparently, there has been some work done with summer students, but we've run into a bit of a problem with the hours that they have been assigned as maybe not the ones that we really need them for. And maybe by adjusting those, we could actually get some more interest happening if we can free them up by the very important 10 o'clock PM time.
Certainly, I will recontact Tara
Thank you.
and
Okay.
reengage.
Thank you, yeah. So anyway, it's happening, and the weather couldn't be any more perfect for the day, so I'm sure we'll see several thousand people there. There's been emails about Alberta Days. They were looking for somebody from us. Has somebody taken that on? the museum is the one that was sending out those emails asking for someone from one of us to be there.
You said you would.
I said I would. I wondered if I informally said I would.
Remember Brandon volunteered and you said, ah.
Yeah, because of what Brandon said he was going to say.
Oh, that's right.
But
So,
I
yes.
thought, okay, I thought I should clarify. Okay.
I do
so
remember I do recall that, yes.
I just wanted to, oh my gosh, no, okay.
We said Brandon
All right,
maybe not
so if
speaking
I
on behalf.
could ask our communications group to work with me on whatever we need to say that day, because I think they were pretty specific about what they wanted. Okay, thanks.
Perfect, thank you. So you've
And
got
what
that
day did I
covered.
commit myself to? 28th, oh, okay. All right, oh, okay.
So what? No, oh, for the Alberta days?
We'll
I thought
plug
it was
that into your
I'm
calendar.
doing that
Sunday.
again.
Oh, it's a
That's
Friday.
it.
Okay, so we're straight, it's the Friday?
All right, yeah.
No, I'm not telling, I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know.
It is a
the
Friday, okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
All right, and any
Can
idea?
you
oh, sorry.
put calendar invites or send, perfect, so everyone knows where
Perfect,
they're
that's a
going?
good idea. Yeah, please. Last time I talked about the Northern Lakes Carpentry course needing numbers. Have we heard back? Or I've heard that maybe they're okay now, but is that true?
We don't have any concerns at this moment.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for what I think the part that we played in that and putting it out.
Yeah.
Made a huge difference because it happened pretty quick. So good job.
Yeah.
All right, these are a couple concerns that I've had brought to me from citizens. An individual that does a lot of walking and concerned about tree branches hanging low on the sidewalks. Are we dealing with that?
It's an ongoing concern across all of our trails. Councillor
Okay.
Jeffrey will continue to find them and knock them off as soon as we can.
Okay,
We did just run a chainsaw course, so I'm happy about that. Maybe we can get some more folks out there to focus on those things. But if we do have specific locations or trails that we need to look at, if you can just send that my way so we can.
I'll try to
not
watch.
searching.
It doesn't bother me. I seem to walk right underneath all of it, but.
That's because we're the same,
height.
vertically challenged.
And notice that?
Counselor Wheeler, I think she just has a comment.
Yeah, I'm wondering, it's, when you're phrasing it, it's walking on sidewalks. These are private trees on people's private property. They're hanging over the sidewalks. And I'm wondering if there could be some education piece on the communication side from bylaw about like, if it's over a sidewalk, it needs to be, I don't know how tall the rule is, but there's probably a rule.
Actually, that is part of it, but the other part of it is even on sidewalks, there are trees that are on the town boulevard part
Yeah.
that are creating the problem. And I
Okay,
did see
well,
that too.
we can attack both problems
Yeah.
with the communications.
The communication
and then
part is
If we know
important, for
where
sure.
they are,
Yeah.
then we can go out and
Just-
if they're ours,
Just
we
inform.
can do the
Yeah,
work.
inform
for
people,
sure.
that'd be good. Thank you. And the other concern, okay, so somebody's going to have to help me with this. Apparently, there's a walking trail in through Aspen View. I know there is. I did it once and I got lost, so I'm not going back. But if you know which trail that is, this person has expressed a concern that she said that when it was constructed, they were promised that there would be lights put on it. and
Oh, I
there
know
are no
exactly.
lights.
There's no lights, so when, by the park, through the trees, so as you kind of go down, it is very dark, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, so whether it can happen now or we talk about it at budget time, it's a point that we should be addressing.
But there is no lights on that whole pathway all on the
That
ring
has to be the
road.
reason I got lost.
That's why everyone leaves their Christmas lights up all year.
That must be it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm broke.
All right, okay, so, okay, put it on the agenda, thank you. And, the last report that you did, Mr. CAO, had reference to grant information. And I don't know what those grants are for. If there's a way that I could get, I mean, I guess I could do the search and figure it out and.
Yeah, so
No,
Councillor
I
Jeffrey.
just want for information.
Yeah,
like,
there-
what are they, what's the
The
purpose of them?
ACP grants, one of them was in reference to the ice plant,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one was in reference to a future project that may or may not come, but I'm happy to brief you back on those anytime.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I'm going to go to Counselor Wheeler and then Counselor Boehm.
Thanks. One of my pieces is, I'm sure I've been seeing a bit online, but about the pool closure being for a whole month. And I'm wondering, someone had asked, well, why wouldn't you drain and clean and do one pool and then drain and clean and do the other pool in separate times? The pool is open. And I said I would bring the question forward.
Just to get it all done at one time. It's more effective to close it, get her cleaned up so everything's scheduled at the same time, and then we can reopen it at the same time. Everything's running. It's not effective to close one, then open one, then close one, then open one. It works better to close them all. It's more effective by time and efficiency just to close it, clean it. And what we're doing with this shutdown time is the teams have been pushed over to the old pool, and those folks are over there cleaning that up and getting it ready to do what we need to do with it. And you'll see a report come on that pretty soon as well. But it's all about efficiency, that's all.
I just want to make sure, a month is actually a very long time. And are they planning to do this every year?
No, it's a scheduled, I want to say it's 3 years. Yeah, it's every 3 years that we do this.
Okay.
So as soon as I saw this shut down for a month, I just about lost my mind. So I went over to check to make sure that we weren't, phasing wasn't a really good option.
Yeah.
And it's not. When we take a look at just efficiencies and costs, close it, reopen it, and re-go again is the most efficient and cost-effective manner. Pools are already a losing situation financially, so I don't want to double down on it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Finn?
The only other thing I know, to drain that pool, to drain at the Ramada, it's 3 days. So to drain that pool is gonna take a substantial amount of time. Unless they can vac truck it or something.
They should have built it to a standard size for the drain portion, and it shouldn't take quite as long, depending on.
Five days to drain that pool.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, and I think that's reasonable, so.
Where do they drain? Where's the water go? Just unplug, like a bathtub?
Yeah, just pull the plug. You just pull the plug.
Just pull the plug?
Put her straight into the storms.
You mean you can't swim in there while it's raining?
Are they gonna do a dog party before they drain it?
No.
Asking for a friend. Some places do that. They do. Our old pool, I think that was for the final swim, I remember, yeah, was the dog swim, it's cute. Yeah. Okay, Councillor Boehm?
Yeah, I guess question from the council side, should we be doing motions for a lot of these things that we're asking you to bring back into the future? Would you guys prefer that?
Back to the future.
Back to the future. My pants are not outside yet, I don't know why.
We could technically do motions for all of these things, but quite frankly, really what you're asking me to do are staff checks. And rather than wasting a ton of council time doing motions, making motions, approving motions, I promise I'll go do the staff checks and get back to you. Okay. It's just a little more efficient that way.
Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Thanks. I had feedback from someone who went to the landfill to drop just some recycling stuff off. It was, I should say they had recycling and they had waste, but they weren't asked about that, and they should have gone across the scale twice because they should have dropped off the recycling and then came back and got officially weighed to drop off their garbage. But because they weren't, in essence, they paid for their recycling and their garbage. It is.
Isn't the recycling before the scale?
They should have done their recycling and the recycle bins prior to, but I don't know if maybe they had industrial recycle.
And I'm not exactly, I don't think so. I think it would have been household, but it's still, for me, it was just more like the process of the scale house, just checking. When they're asking, they ask where you haul from, but what you're hauling kind of thing. And that's an education piece maybe for our citizens a bit, but I was wondering about the clean shoe area. They were directed to go back up to the top and dump. And, I mean, it's her and her daughter, like, it wasn't an industrial thing, and so it's mucky, and I know they were having trouble after the fire of where people should be dumping. She got told she needs to dump at the bottom because of the fire, and so there was people dumping everywhere, and she wasn't sure where to dump.
No, I would love to say that this is a unique problem, but it is not. So last week, I went through, in part of my site visits, I dropped by the landfill, and in that very short visit, I established at least I engaged with 2 commercial and 1 residential group dumping. Nobody had a problem figuring out where the recycle was, but just specifically the dumping piece, the contractor had run into a problem with their equipment, and then all the dumping was happening at the bottom of the hill on the road. It was not good.
Okay, that's what she was going through, yeah.
Yeah,
She was like, I don't know.
so our team engaged immediately and called the contractor to get them to sort their stuff out. They got a cat and a packer engaged and started moving it back up the hill to clean it. One of the key elements, well, there's a couple of elements. One is the contractor is responsible for keeping the roads clear and passable. We've had some problems with that, so we're dealing with that through engaging per the contract how to resolve that issue. And the other is the amount of rain that we had made it super difficult for the garbage to be pushed up and put in. I would suggest that this has nothing to do with the fire at all. It only has to do with our contractor not meeting their obligations, quite openly. There are some issues there that need to be resolved. As this council is aware, we have made some adjustments in our leadership team to accommodate some of those issues, so I expect to see better performance very shortly here. I also expect to receive a letter from our contractor. That's not very friendly, but.
Yeah, we often don't think of it as a town facility, but it really is. And I know years ago, we switched with the scale house, whether the contractor was running it or we were, and I just wanted to, I'm not sure where all that got left.
We're running it, yeah.
Yeah.
We run the scale house, and then the
Yeah.
contractor manages the site.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Yeah, and then I did want to touch base today just on the request for someone to attend the St. Days meeting at the end of this week. Will someone bring that up?
I have it on my list to bring up, because there was 2 whole days that were slated to attend this, and I don't really think that's our role. So Mr. Grant and I chatted about if there's maybe just an hour where we're needed to kind of go over the project, then we'll figure out what that most useful hour is out of those 2 days, and if it's someone from council and admin or what, so we're just trying to flush it out. Yeah.
Yeah, the agenda looked more like they're still really in the early stages of figuring it
Yeah.
out, and I thought potentially someone more from like the admin side of if the road entrance is here and the water pipe is here,
Yeah.
might make more sense, but for us to
For us
attend,
to
I
be
wasn't
typically, no.
sure. Okay,
No.
as long
yeah,
as
we're sorting
someone,
through that.
I just also don't want to not reply back, so.
So I did RSVP.
Okay.
And we are looking at the agenda right now to see what that looks like, to Madam Mayor's perspective, exactly what timing makes the best sense, if there is a timing in this early stage, which looks more to me like a concept design stage, but, yeah.
I'm gonna leave it with you guys then.
And it wouldn't really be our role to be planning, right? It's on their land and, yeah. We'll get back. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Finn.
I just got an update on the disc golf. So there's a disc golf course going between Powerhouse and Frank Maddock. And they're putting so HW Pickup had a disc course at their old site, so they're putting one on. It's going in the school lands is what my report said this morning. So it could just be a one-off then.
So it's, yeah. Yeah, I think that being, the town would need to maybe be advised or let know that there's a disc golf going everywhere, because it is
Well, it's on their land. It's like on school division land.
Typically, we would, in the very least, they would let us know that they were doing a development of, disc golf doesn't take a lot of infrastructure.
Well, it's all removable. Like, they're all just on wheels, but yeah.
Oh, they're just on wheels?
They're like wheeled baskets as far as what I've been told.
Oh, so
I could be
they're
wrong.
not permanent structures? Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, they're
Yeah.
not permanent structures.
Maybe if they could just reach out to
Yeah, just drop me a line.
Troy, and then we can just have a little update of what's happening. So then that way, when we get the questions, it's
What?
like, what's going on?
Yeah, 100%.
Counselor Finn, if you'd just like to link me up with the person I need to talk to, I'm happy to reach out. Either
Sweet.
way is fine.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, and for myself, I've been receiving some messages in regards to the car club, again, last night. So we're going to sort through that. I think that for any organization, club, or anybody that's in the community and they're wanting for a counselor to attend, it's hard for us to know what's happening. We talked about that. We don't know everything that's happening. So I guess, us getting the word out that if there are clubs and associations that are wanting representation from council, it's either to call us, to reach out to us, to invite us to the event so we're aware that they're happening and then somebody can attend, is probably the best. We don't have a council rep that I know of, right, that sits on that? Okay, so we don't have a council rep that sits on that, and as well as Town of Drayton Valley is not responsible for the Canada Day Parade as well. So I believe Mr. Grant is going to reach out to the individual just to clarify some of these low-hanging fruit, and then just to say to the club, if we could have a letter maybe go out that says any sort of events that are happening, please, and send an invitation so we're aware.
Absolutely, Madam Mayor, we'll send another letter to the car club.
Perfect. Thank you. We talked about basketball, street party. Oh, sure, go ahead.
Are we sure that that person's speaking on behalf of the car club?
Well, I don't know, right? They made mention of a counselor being at the, yeah, I don't know, right? We can chat about it, but yeah, it's the vice president, so, or they're saying to be the vice president.
Okay, we can reach out.
Brandon's a deputy mayor, so it's crazy stuff all the time.
Yeah, I rail on people all the time, so. Kick my leg sometimes.
Yeah, so I guess for any groups, organizations, sometimes we see it or we hear about it and we share it and we talk about it here, but other times we just don't know what's happening. We can't be everywhere at once. And of course, all of us want to represent and be at events that are happening. So if we know about it, we can guarantee that someone will be coming, or I guess we can't guarantee, but we'll do our best that a counselor will be there to represent the town of Drayton Valley. And if not, we'll figure out something else. So, yeah, go ahead, Councillor Clark.
So just kind of in that same vein, just organizations and perhaps even companies in town. I know Absolute Heavy Duty Repairs has a brand new shop and they're having a barbecue and stuff. It might be worth showing up to stuff like that. I know Hayduck is expanding their buildings. We got Techmation building a new one. We got Plum expanding their stuff. So is it worth reaching out and just saying, hey, we'd love to be part of grand openings, whatever?
And we did talk about that, if we can get an update from our ec dev team, so we're there. Like, I was even thinking of Ricky.
Yeah.
Like Studio 52.
And I was thinking that, I was like, oh, I'll have to come by. I haven't been there, the expansion. So if we could reach out and coordinate a day that we can be going over to these places and welcoming and congratulating them.
So that'd be great.
Yeah.
We only know what we know.
Yeah.
So a development permit for Plum, as an example, their development permit won't be approved until the 2nd of September at the latest. It may be approved next week, but we don't know when their grand openings are, when their completions are, unless they reach out and tell us. We do reach out already through economic development to engage on a less regular than maybe we should, but we'll continue through the chamber, through the business support network, through our own engagements as we continue to make appointments with them and update our stuff. So it's not going to be a light switch on and off. We'll get better at it as people provide us more information and get more used to inviting you out as counselors for their events, knowing that those opportunities are there. Not everybody thinks about it. Not everybody gives us a call, but we'll try to capture as many as we can.
Yeah, and some big anniversaries and stuff that,
The anniversaries we can do
like
for
even
sure.
with the White Bull, with 70 years, what have we done, right? So if we can maybe coordinate a date for the White Bull, for Plum, for Studio 52, who's the other one that you said?
So there's Hayduck, there's Techmation, they're both building new
They're both
buildings.
building right now.
So they're in the process, and what was the other one that's having the barbecue?
Absolute, so that's like Keybury.
Absolute, if we
Absolute.
can do, at least do those four right now, and then kind of do a little search to see if there's anything else going, yeah. It's important, right, to support our businesses and what's happening. Oh, yeah, kickstand is tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, just those four, if we can coordinate then. Okay, I think that's everything for roundtable. Right? Okay, wonderful. So we have 3 information items on the agenda. Call to action to the Government of Alberta, West Central Airside Society Annual Report, and St. Anthony's School Value Scoping Invitation Letter. Is there a member of council that would like to receive these as information, or make a motion to receive these as information? Councillor Finn, thank you very much. I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried, and we will adjourn our meeting at 11:40 a.m. Perfect.